right here. I've been to speeches where Governor Rounds has stood up and talked about how many E85 vehicles we have in our state fleet. Yet you go to any transportation department in any town, any city, or the fleet center in Pierce, South Dakota, you cannot get 1 gallon of E85. The state doesn't carry it. Are the employees burning it out on the road? We have no idea. But if you're going to invest in E85 vehicles, why wouldn't you at least make the fuel available where they check out the cars, where they fuel the cars, where they fuel the pickups? It's pretty easy to be the savior of ethanol and biofuels. You can get up in front of people and you have the podium all the time and tell them what a great product it is. But why don't those same people, when they're in their capacity as legislators or governor or department people, demand that we burn our homegrown product? We're exporting ethanol hundreds of millions of gallons at a time. Why not burn more of it here? You know, they want to blame the food producers. And certainly, corn-based ethanol, things are going to change. We're probably going to go to more cellulosic alcohol in the future, as soon as the technology catches up. Go to Brazil. Their economy is run on ethanol. Guess where they get the cars from? Most of them are General Motors. There's no reason we can't do the same thing here. We just have to have the resolve to do it. We have to have the resolve not only from the national level, which a lot of us, we can make some difference there, but we can make a bigger difference in our state, and that's what we have to work on. We have to work on getting our state government to not only give it a little lip service, but by golly, let's use it in our state vehicles whenever we can. We also should talk about biodiesel. In the last legislature, we did the same thing for biodiesel on a more limited basis. When we did ethanol years back, they got a 2-cent break at the pump. They also got $1 million a year, up to $1 million a year. They got 20 cents a gallon for the production of their ethanol, up to $1 million a year for 10 years. We didn't go quite that far on the biodiesel. We gave them a 2-cent tax break. And that's going to go away if you build 2 plants. Maybe the technology isn't quite here yet for biodiesel to do what we have done in the past with ethanol, to take biodiesel on that level. But it's certainly going to be coming. It certainly will be here in the near future. So we have to send people to peer who can recognize that fact, work along those lines, and work with people so that we can bring about the change in that industry that we brought about with the ethanol industry. So that's very important. Another thing we need to talk about more in this state, and we've done a lot of talking about wind energy since I've been in the legislature. That's probably a very good place for talking about wind, because there has to be a lot of it out there. Some of it blows up from the 2nd floor. But you know, there again, we talk a good line in here. The leadership talks a good line, not the Democratic leadership, but the Republican leadership. We've done a few odd things for wind energy. We haven't been a real big help. When you look at, just drive down Interstate 90 and go east of Sioux Falls into Minnesota, look at that brand new power line they're putting in. The power line's right there, the fence is right there along the interstate. It didn't take up a spot much bigger than your table. And that's all because of the wind energy over there, that they're building those power lines. They didn't have to go out and go across a whole bunch of country and look for easements. They built it by the edge. There's no reason we can't do that in South Dakota. We got a north-south interstate, we got an east-west interstate, we've got railroad right-of-ways. We can do the same thing on it. We just got the state involved to provide an avenue to build those transmission lines. In addition to that, if we can't find somebody that's willing to invest in those transmission lines, there's no reason we can't, as a state, start an authority and do it and collect the wheeling charge for wheeling that energy to the marketplace. It just takes a little forward thinking to do those types of things. You have to do more than show up 1 or 2 days a week at the office in your blue jeans, fly around in your King Air, and give speeches to people about what we've done as a state, when we really haven't done enough. We haven't been at the forefront. We haven't taken the lead in some positions that we could. We have money sitting around in economic development funds in here that certainly could be used for those types of things. So as I quit talking about energy and talk about one other thing that I want that I want you to get involved in. Remember this. We are currently in an effort to take over the state senate in this state and add to our numbers in the House. And I think we're going to be very successful along those lines. We're going to need your help. We're going to need everybody's help. People are tired of things the way they are. And you might ask, well, why do you want to take the Senate first? Well, ladies and gentlemen, in just a few short years, we're going to redistrict this state once again. And if we have the Senate, if we have control of the Senate, we can control how they draw those boundary lines. They will no longer be able to get rid of people like Senator Charlie Flowers by drawing him into a district, drawing him out of his home base, drawing him into a district that takes him 150 miles from his home. They will no longer be able to cut up neighborhoods in Sioux Falls where they can cherry pick and get their people in. That is the key to having a more effective legislature in the future. So what we're doing here, we're laying the groundwork, we're putting down the foundation. And if you're going to build a building, if you're going to build a house, you start with a good foundation. If you don't, I don't care how much money you put in the house, it's going to fail. So that's what we need to do now. We need to put that foundation in. We need to get control of the Senate this time around. The next time around, we'll get control of the House, and we'll get control of the governor's chair, and we'll put people in place that will help build our energy infrastructure in this state, that will change the way that we do business in this state. We'll get rid of the people who don't want to lead, who only want to get a paycheck and simply show up for work 4 days a week, or maybe even 3, God only knows. But when we do that, we can all be proud. Because it's you and the people at your table and your family at home that are going to make that possible. And this is the time to do it. The stars are aligning. Look at the national. We've got a president that's very unpopular. He's got us in a very unpopular war. Doesn't know how to get out. Put somebody in charge of a war that couldn't run a good playground. We got a governor who was alienating his own people in the legislature. The stars are aligning. The time is now. Now is when we need to do it. So let's finish up with this convention and go out and work the ground, get our people elected, and take control of this state for the people of South Dakota. Thank you very much.